Hello, everyone. So we are going to continue on with our second portion of Chapter 9 PowerPoint. So we left off the other day talking about cash registers, okay, and taxable items, non-taxable items. So cash register management, typically now most methods of payment are cash or debit or credit cards. Some people still use personal checks. Some people use flex cards or HSA cards, which is their health savings account, to pay for prescriptions. So the biggest thing that I want you to understand, and this isn't really taught anymore, but the importance of actually counting back your change. So count out the amount on the register or count from the purchase price. So if someone hands you a 20 and their bill was $11, you're going to count that back to them. So you're going to hand them was $11, so 12, 13, 14, 15, so 4 and 1s, and then your 5, you're going to say 5 makes 20. So again, it's something that's not really taught anymore, but it's really important to be able to learn how to cash or count change back. Other tasks, so using the cash register is not just going to involve you ringing up a customer and checking them out. Sometimes they're going to come up to you with an item that's not marked on the shelf, and they're going to ask you, how much is this? You can use that. Sometimes you can use the cash register. You're going to have to void out items if they don't have enough to pay for certain things, or modify prices. Sometimes the coupon or the store discounts are not loaded automatically in the register, and you're going to have to do that. And at the end of the day, typically the manager or whoever's in charge will reconcile the cash register at the end of the day. It does go into business math, so we're going to skip this section because we're actually going to talk about that in our math section on Friday. So we're going to head straight into the inventory. We should start on slide 42. So inventory is the entire stock of pharmaceutical products on hand for sale at any given point or time in a community pharmacy. So the inventory value is the total value of drugs and merchandise that are in stock on any given day. The purpose of inventory management is timely purchase of items, being able to receive those items in a timely manner, and then maintenance, keeping a maintenance of appropriate levels of material in stock. We don't want to be telling our customers, sorry, I don't have enough to give you, more than a couple days supply. We're out of this, we're out of that. Or you also don't want to be stuck with too much inventory on your shelf that's not moving, it's a slow mover, and then you end up having to expire it out. You lose money on that. Purchasing, so ordering products for use or sale by the pharmacy. Drug stock is the pharmacy's biggest expense. It is, even above, employee salaries. Depending on the size of the facility, how many patients they service, what type of area they're in. Regardless of that information, the inventory bill, meaning what we spend on drugs and other pharmacy supplies, is our biggest expense as a pharmacy as overall. Stock levels, so there can be manual or automated inventory records, and this is based on usage and seasonal patterns. So obviously during the cold and flu season, we're going to stock more Tamiflu than we are during the summer months. So just things like that. As each prescription is filled, the pharmacy software will automatically deduct the amount from the inventory. Now, not all facilities are going to have this type of capability or this type of software. This software is very, very expensive. So, your bigger pharmacies that make and generate a lot of money, like, CVS, Walgreens, they're going to have this type of capability because they can afford the software. Smaller mom and pop facilities are not going to have this type of software, and they're going to be doing their inventory manually because it's just not cost effective for them to have that type of software because it's so expensive. A computerized inventory control, so software that automatically will generate Purchase order when the inventory drops to a minimal or minimum present level, which is also known as the par level. So if they have this computerized inventory system, they're going to set par levels. They're going to set a min and max, and we did that kind of in the want book. So when the computer realizes that you're down to 3 bottles and that's the min, it's going to automatically generate a purchase report for that particular drug. Pharmacy software can automatically generate daily reorder lists and place the orders with the wholesaler. Again, these type of programs are used in very wealthy or very successful pharmacies that have the money to purchase this type of software. Primary wholesaler purchasing. A pharmacy can contract with a wholesaler to be their primary supplier. The pharmacy will get daily deliveries and automatic online ordering. So typically a pharmacy, no matter what type of pharmacy they are, whether they're a retail pharmacy or a hospital pharmacy, they're going to get an order every single day of the week, Monday through Friday. Typically orders don't come in on Saturdays and Sundays, but we do an order every day so we can get supplies in for the next day. There's different types of wholesalers out there: McKesson, AmerisourceBergen, Cardinal Health. There's a lot of different wholesalers, and it really just depends on which wholesaler the pharmacy can get a pretty sweet contract with to keep costs down. Prime vendor purchasing. A pharmacy that uses 2 or more main suppliers can set up a prime vendor purchasing contract with one vendor to get a discount for high volume purchasing. Just-in-time purchasing. This is keeping inventory costs to a minimum by maintaining low stocks or low stock levels and purchasing drugs in small quantities as needed, which will end up causing more frequent ordering. So some pharmacies practice this, probably the smaller pharmacies, whereas the bigger pharmacies aren't going to so much. Inventory range for each drug, a maximum and minimum number of units to have on hand. Okay, and there's actually a way to calculate that. You would calculate by subtracting the present inventory from the minimum inventory, and the difference is what your range is or how much you're going to order. Stock levels and ranges adjust periodically. So again, sometimes we adjust those on a seasonal level for certain drugs. Different geographical locations. So for example, if we have pharmacies, CVS or Walgreens that work or that are positioned down, let's say in Green Valley, their medications for the elderly population are going to be more than probably what most of our Walgreens and CVS do here in terms of volume. So it just kind of depends on where the pharmacy is located, what their patient population is that they're servicing, to kind of determine what their fast movers are going to be and how much stock of all of that they're going to carry. Computer inventory corrected to match the amount on the shelf, and again, seasonal adjustments. So another example would be, for an over-the-counter area, sunscreen, right, during the summer months in some locations. But again, things that we go through pretty quickly and only kind of seasonal areas, we will stock heavier during that season time, and then if it's, once that season's over, we'll back off and not carry as much in the store. Processing order deliveries. So make sure that the correct number of plastic containers or totes is received. So on your invoice, it's going to tell you how many totes you received. So whoever your wholesaler is, when they deliver that to you, you're actually going to have to sign for that through their driver. So you're going to want to make sure that you check that invoice packet and it says 10 totes. You're going to physically count that there's 10 totes. Controlled substances will always be delivered in separate totes. These will never be mixed in with your regular retail or non-controlled prescription orders. As you're putting away, so this is something that's going to help you for your assignment on Friday. So you physically will be signing from the driver, okay? And then you're going to open up that invoice and you're going to open up all of those totes. As you open up those totes one at a time, you're going to go through and you're going to check off everything that you receive. So you're looking to make sure that it's the right drug, the right strength, was correct what you ordered, and the quantity you ordered. So if you order 2, you better account that there's 2 in there. And you're going to do that for the entire order through the whole entire invoice. Items that are not shipped are typically on a back order, and you'll see that quantity 1 was ordered but 0 was shipped. Okay, these are things that you can make little notes on the inventory. Back orders typically hop in because there's a shortage of that particular drug. One of the most famous ones that we had within the last couple of years was both normal saline and morphine, because one of the main drug manufacturers for those was in Puerto Rico, and their manufacturing plant got pretty damaged from that big hurricane that came through. So there was a period of time where places in the United States were panicking because they were having a hard time getting their hands on any morphine or normal saline, and other drug manufacturers that were making it started, seeing their inventory fly off the shelves because they couldn't get it from the original wholesaler. Posting, process of reconciling the invoice and updating inventory in a pharmacy database after delivery. So again, that piece of it, so when you take the invoice and you're reconciling it physically within the computer system, that is posting. Rotating stock. Okay, this is super important. We practice this not only in pharmacy settings. If you think about it even in your home, when you go to the grocery store and you buy, the 93% hamburger meat is on sale, I'm going to buy 6 of those and I'm going to store them in the freezer. Well, when you go home and you're going to add those to the freezer, let's say you have 3 or 4 already in there. Are you going to place the new ones on top of that, or are you going to put them underneath to use the older ones you had first? That's the same concept. They do it in grocery stores. They do it in pharmacy. It's just a matter of making sure that you are going to put whatever is going to expire in the longest amount of time on the back, and everything that's going to expire sooner will be moved to the front so we can ensure that we're using that first. Items with shortest expiration dates should be used first. So, if you have 1 bottle of Lipitor on the shelf and you got a new bottle, you're going to look at both of those expiration dates. Okay, if what you have on the shelf expires first, you're going to put the new bottle behind it. That way we use that first bottle first. After delivery is received, you will also want to make sure that you go in and complete any partial fills for patients and orders from the day before. So let's say you have a patient come in and they need a prescription for a Tenolol and they needed 30 and you only had 10. You're going to give them the 10, but you need to refill that remaining 20. Okay. Drug recalls, we've talked about this. The manufacturer alerts pharmacies to return products based on drug name, dose, NDC, lot number, and expiration. Remember, the lot number and expiration is those 2 numbers are what sets it aside. So that's what you're focusing in on. You're going to make sure it's the right drug, that it is the right NDC number, it is the right dose, but the key identifying numbers are the lot number and the expiration. Again, these are done through 2 entities, either voluntarily through the drug manufacturer or FDA mandated. They are ranked in a class of 1 through 3, with the class 1 being the most severe. I would review this. There's going to be questions on your Chapter 9 quiz regarding these. All relevant medications are pulled from the shelf. So if you identify that you have 3 bottles that are part of that drug recall, you're going to remove all 3 of those bottles from the shelf. You also have to go through and see what patients were dispensed out of those bottles and contact them. Handling of controlled substances. So the pharmacy will register with the DEA. So not the pharmacist, just the pharmacy. So Fry's Pharmacy, Walgreens Pharmacy, Mr. Smith's pharmacy. The pharmacy itself registers with the DEA to get a DEA number. This DEA number that the pharmacy gets allows that pharmacy to dispense controlled substances. The pharmacists do not need a license, the pharmacists do not need a DEA number, okay, just the pharmacy for dispensing purposes. Technicians may accept Schedule 2 through 5 drugs. They may also order C through 5 drugs. So we as technicians, if we're in a purchaser's position, which means we do all of the purchasing for the pharmacy, we can purchase or we can do the orders for Schedule 3 through 5s. Pharmacists only can order C2 medications. Schedule 3 through 5 records, prescription forms are kept are separate from other orders or other prescriptions. So we are always going to store our controlled substance prescriptions that are brought into us from patients in a different location than non-controlled prescriptions. C2s have to be separate from those. So you have 3 separate areas. You're going to have all your regular prescription medications that are non-controlled. You're going to have an area for C3 through 5, and then you're going to have a specific area for C2s. Regular inventories of C2 through 5 substances are required by law. This gives you your PowerPoint on slide 52 gives you a picture of what a DEA Form 222 looks like. This is the form that the pharmacists use to order C2 medications. New C2 drug inventory must be added to the pharmacy's perpetual inventory. So that means that if they do not have an automated system where they store these drugs, they are going to have a logbook. Okay, in our pharmacy classroom, we have a logbook, and it's a binder. And you open up that binder, and there's an A through Z tabs, and each drug that we carry as a controlled substance is classified or logged and placed into that A through Z category based off of their generic drug name. So when we receive an order, okay, we're going to open up that logbook, and we are going to find, let's say it's amphetamine. We go to the A's, we find the amphetamine 10 milligrams, and we look, the last number, right, or the last line shows we filled 10, so the remaining balance is 20. So we got a bottle of 100. We're going to put that bottle in, we're going to label it in there into that logbook, and I think I might have some extra sheets that I can show you. Hopefully I can upload them. But you're going to go in, you're going to put the date that the order was received, what the drug was, and how many we got. We got 100. So now the new balance is 120. Okay. Pharmacy must what do I want to do this? Okay, so let's go back real quick to the inventory of scheduled drugs. So scheduled drugs, as required by the DEA, are required to have an inventory done every 2 years. Okay, most pharmacies do it more frequently, at least yearly. Some of them do them quarterly. But as required by the DEA, it's only every 2 years. Now, for a pharmacy as a whole, they must have their entire pharmacy counted. So they do this huge inventory. And the reason why they do that is to determine what the total value of the inventory that they have in stock is. And then it's going to give them access to figuring out what their stock turnover is. And that information is used to decide, okay, how much of each drug and product should be maintained. You know, what are our fast movers? What are our slow movers? When should we adjust inventory? And when should we adjust inventory levels? So again, based off of certain seasonal things. And where should that inventory be stored? Is it feasible for us to, get 10 cases of something if we don't have any place to store it? Pharmacy informatics, so the use of computer systems and software online, online processing and technology for integration of pharmacy related data and automation. So tasks of specialized pharmacy informatics include, so let's say I'm a technician and I'm specialized in pharmacy informatics. I might be asked to generate productivity reports, safety reports. I'll be responsible for ensuring that data is properly backed up in a secured location or a secured storage. Think about that, if computers crash, all of that, we have to make sure that we have proper backup. Keeping the pharmacy software up to date. So if I'm part of that IT team, I'm going to be looking at pharmacy software updates for our particular program. Do we need to purchase a new program? Those type of things. Protecting our computer systems from viruses and hackers. And then again, preparing for any type of emergency loss of power. Just a couple things that I want to retouch on. So when you are doing your assignment on Friday, do the best you can, okay? Read through your chapter. I gave you some specific pages to look at. Look through your PowerPoints, look at this video, and really get creative, okay? Think about from beginning to end how receiving an order and what receiving an order is going to look like, okay? So again, when our driver comes in, we have that invoice, we're going to check that off. 10 totes, good to go. Then we're going through each order specifically piece by piece and we're reconciling that against, okay, I ordered 3 levothyroxine, I have 3 on my inventory list, there's 3 in the tote, I'm good to go. Once you reconcile the entire invoice to the entire order, you are going to date it and then you are going to sign your name. So you can show later on, yes, I did in fact check that inventory or that order that came in, okay? As always, if you have any questions, make sure you reach out to me, and I hope you have a good day.